Okay, Aaran, we are good to go.
Okay. Hi friends. So today we are going to talk about some history and geography of our continents and some surprising facts. Let's talk about some stories. The first one is of Atlantis. A Greek philosopher, Plato, first described Atlantis, not the city Atlanta, Georgia. That's not what I'm talking about. The lost city of Atlantis. So I'm talking about the Greek philosopher Plato. So he didn't have to discover, he first made up Atlantis in 1600 BC. So let's talk about the next story of Kumari Kandan. So Kumari Kandan lies south of India. It's said to be lying south of India, then covering Sri Lanka's area, touching East Africa and Western Australia, and some parts of Andaman and whole Lakshadweep, some parts of Lakshadweep and Maldives. So now we'll talk about some facts now. There's a joke here. There's a joke about Europe that I mentioned in the beginning, if no one heard it. It is, when I went to Europe with my friend, I loved it so much and I thought I was dreaming. My friend said, "No, you're not dreaming, you're up." Get it? Like I'm saying my name Europe, but it's like you're up, meaning you just woke up. Can I please see picture 1, IT? Yes, so there are 3 sunken continents we'll talk about here. And we'll talk about some in one region, some in the other. From one side of the world to the other. Like, I'm talking in hemispheres. So, I think that one of the continents, Zealandia, could be a continent, even though it's sunken, since it fulfills 3 duties to be a continent. So, next picture please, IT. First we are starting with Greater Adria. So this all started in one big continent called Pangaea. The northern half being Laurasia. Can we please have the picture of Laurasia, IT, which will split into Asia, Europe, and North America. And next one is Gondwana, also known as Gondwanaland, which will split into Africa, South America, Australia, and Antarctica. Next picture, please. So some of the chunks that would become today's Africa, modern day Africa, decided to jump northwest, northeast, and the largest of those chunks were a continent called Greater Adria, which was named due to the close area to the Adriatic Sea of today that is on the border of Italy. That's how it got its name, Greater Adria. So it lies between Italy and the Balkans, who live in Bulgaria. Next pic, and most likely this continent of Greater Adria was most likely a group of islands rather than one big island. And atolls, which are, suppose there's a coral reef ring, there's an island growing on top of that. That's an atoll. And there were tiny seas inside it, and it would be a great experience to swim in them, but sadly it submerged out. It sank out. So some of Greater Adria got scooped up by parts of Europe, others by Western Asia, and some of Southern Europe. So that's a map of it. And that Southern Europe part is in a yellow outline. The Western Asian part that was scooped up is the pink one, and the green is all part of the other parts of Europe. And if there were none of these, then next picture please, the Apennine mountain range, which is here running on the boot of Italy till the end of Italy, would not have existed without the last remains of Greater Adria. So it's scraping against so basically Greater Adria sank into the mantle of the earth, resulting to this formation of the Apennine mountain range. Next picture please. So basically it's scraping against the Alps, meaning it's like touching the Alps in a very cool way, where so basically Alps are touching the Apennine mountain range, which are connecting the two. And next picture please. So there are some parts of Greater Adria, there are some chunks where you can stand on in Greater Adria, in Greece, Turkey, and some parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina and Croatia. So basically it's like that because partly Turkey is inside Greater Adria, around all of Greece is in Greater Adria except a tiny tip, and whole of Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina are inside Greater Adria. But these are the only countries where you can stand on a piece of Greater Adria. And most likely you would take a photo from there. Next picture, please. So, some people refer the Mediterranean region to as a mess. Everything is stacked, curved, and everything is stacked, curved, and split. Next picture, please. So, a scientist called Dr. Valley Dan Hinsbergen compared the Himalayas, which had very less fault lines, which are those cracks, compared to Europe, which is so twisted and curved. As you can see this comparison. In the Himalaya picture, it's so smooth. But in Europe, it's like curved with straight lines, but it's so smooth on the Himalayas. Next slide, please. So, scientists thought that Greater Adria was a very rich and mineral deposit for many rich stuff and minerals, pearls. Next slide, please. So, that's another picture of Greater Adria in a better marking, as you can see there. Next picture, please. So, this is a picture of Zealandia, which is the second on our list of the continents. And also 23 million years ago was when this sunken landmass dipped in. And this is in the South Pacific Ocean when it was rising in the last ice age. So basically, it broke off Australia, then it sunk down. But just 4%, which is New Caledonia and New Zealand, was remaining, which is just 4%. The other 96% is underneath the water. So basically, it's 1 kilometer higher. Zealandia is 1 kilometer higher than the surrounding ocean, and that's why we call it the 8th continent, some people. And it's split out of Australia. Next picture, please. So 60 to 85 million years ago, it split from Australia. And it's today separated from Australia by there's some land, there's some waters. Suppose this is Australia and this is Zealandia. There's some water in the middle that separates both Zealandia and Australia. So earlier, there was nothing in the middle of sea and land. So now there is something. Sealand, Zealand, Zealandia. That's how it got its name. Sealand, Zealand, Zealandia. Got it? Got it. Okay, next. So, it's around 4.9 million square kilometers, which is a lot. It's nearly twice the size of Greenland, yet nearly 2/3 the size of its neighbor parent continent, Australia. Next slide, please. So, if Zealandia was still above water, then basically parts like Sydney, Australia, those parts that are getting blue in the Australia part, will get quite cold and dry, quite colder and drier than they are today. It won't make it an Arctic tundra, but I'm just saying it would become quite cold and dry. And the EAC, the Eastern Australian Current, will get disturbed, and the greedy land, so Zealandia will hog all of that warmth for itself, just like the greedy landmass it is. Next slide, please. Greater area compared to Zealandia is like this. Can you see? Zealandia is quite big compared to greater area, and Zealandia is more of one island like this, but greater area is many islands and atolls separated by seas. Next picture, please. Now we are talking about Doggerland, which is a very funny name, so do not joke about this one. And I have a joke about it plus. It's no, it's not true. That there's no evidence that Doggerland is home to an unusual number of dogs, which is really funny. And this was recent enough for humans to step foot on this. And in 16,000 BC, it was still alive, and that's what did it. So, it touches Denmark and France, and it goes to the British Isle as well. And you know how people also got to know it was Doggerland? It was a sunken continent? Because they found some tools on the floor of the English Channel. Next slide, please. So, basically, from Norway, there was a massive landslide which caused a group of tsunamis to devour much of the northern and southern coast. And from the west, the Canadian Glacier Lake gave a big amount of water which devoured much of the western part. But Dogger Bank, which is this circle thing, that black thing there, managed to hang out for a bit longer until 10,000 to 4,000 BC. Next picture, please. So that's where Dogger Bank stayed out, and it's halfway between Britain and Denmark. Next picture, please. So basically, first Australopithecus was the first human, which was an ape, and another ape-like animal called Homo habilis came, then Homo erectus, then the Neanderthals came. So Neanderthals are the people who lived in Doggerland. That's why we circled it in red. Then finally Homo sapiens came. Then the modern day human. Next slide, please. So, I've already told you this. The glaciers and sea level dip this landmass in, Doggerland I'm talking about. Next picture, please.
I thought that's the last one.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for listening, friends. Now we'll do the pop quizzes. Oh, no. So now there's continental and oceanic crust. And how do scientists know that they found a sunken continent and not only the seabed? I'll explain that now to you. With one picture, I might show you for you to understand better. Here you go. So, can you see this green stars? That's all granite, which is continental crust. And the brown crosses are basalt, which is oceanic crust. So, that's how they know. And it's not like all of the continental crust is granite. There's more rock apart from granite in continental crust. And same in oceanic crust. No, not only basalt, but more rock. So, the future possibilities on Earth are coming now. So, basically, Antarctica might divide into 3 islands. The Antarctic Peninsula, which is that sticking part that connected to South America in Pangaea. And then comes the continents are repelling every 2 hours. And did you know that in the future they might repel to form a totally new continent or maybe make smaller oceans, or they could contract forming Pangaea again. But nobody knows. But now pop quiz! Pop quiz 1. Is Kumari Kandan real or mythical? If anyone knows, then they can put on their camera if they are off and they can wave.
Aaran, you can ask the question again, please.
Okay. Is Kumari Kandan mythical or real? Is Kumari Kandan mythical or real?
And tell us a little bit about it again.
So Kumari Kandan is that lost continent that is south of India. It's said to be south of India, covering Sri Lanka's area, touching East Africa and Western Australia.
We have one hand up. Go ahead.
Real. Wrong. What?
Will you explain?
Should I repeat the question, IT? Yes.
You can explain the answer, please.
So,
Yes, please.
I'll just tell you some of it about Kumari Kandan, then you will get it. It is said to be south of India, covering Sri Lanka, touching East Africa and Western Australia. You'll surely get this. I gave you that clue in the middle.
No, Baba. Nobody. Too high standard for us, Baba.
Can you ask easier one for us, please?
We have already chosen.
Give us the answer, Aaran, please.
But does anyone know other than you firstly?
I don't think so. It doesn't look like.
It seems 5 people have raised up their hands.
Go ahead, Aaran, answer the question.
Okay. It is Kumari Kandan is mythical. Name the 7 continents.
Yeah, Africa, North and South America, Europe, Australia, and Antarctica.
Good job.
Oh, wow.
Pop quiz 3.
Chika kya?
Where is the Adriatic Sea?
What?
Where is the Adriatic Sea?
Okay.
Okay, answer, Aaran.
It is on the boot of Italy. Pop quiz 4. Name the 3 submerged continents I spoke about. And more if you know, but only facts, no stories.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
I know one of them, Doggerland.
Good job. That's the most well-known on our list. I guess that's why you know it. What are the other 2?
Don't remember.
Don't remember. It's a fail.
Who's
Next.
raising their hand?
Next one, Aaran.
Should I ask the question again? Name the 3 submerged continents I just mentioned and more that you know, but only facts.
Go ahead, Aaran.
Okay, they are Greater Asia, Zealandia, and Doggerland. Pop quiz 5. What is an atoll?
And I know
Can
it.
you repeat? What is an atoll?
Can you repeat once more?
What is an atoll?
Go ahead, Aaran.
Okay, I'll answer. It is. So basically, there's a coral ring. Oh, Vanibua got it. You got it, Vanibua. I can see your message on chat. It's correct.
Yay!
It is a coral ring. I'll explain it in properly. So it's a ring of coral and an island growing on top of it. You got what an atoll is? Thank you, friends, for listening.
Is that the last one, Aaran?
Bye.